and welcome back to today's discussion regarding the current affairs of international relations. It would be the part 11 of the this important discussion, which would be very much helpful for your prelims exams. So, right now, after this lecture, we would take up one or two more lectures related to international relations, and I would try to complete whole current affairs since 1.5 year. And after we complete this international relations, I would try to take up the economy, Indian economy, and the current affairs related to it. So, without wasting any time, let's move. Let us jump directly to the topics which we have to discuss today. And the first and the most important topic of today's discussion is non-alignment movement. Why we have to discuss it? As it is given in the heading here, it was the 19th summit of the non-alignment movement, which was held in Kampala, Uganda. Before jumping to it, what were the key assignments signed, what we took from it? We should first know a little bit about the non-alignment movement. We should know what are the principles of non-alignment movement. Here we have some of the principles of non-alignment movement, which are: first, its main principle is respect for UN Charter and international law. Second, it is sovereignty, equality, and territorial integrity for of all states. Third, it is peaceful resolution of international conflicts per UN Charter. Fourth, we have respect for self-defense rights under UN Charter. Fifth, we have non-interference in international affairs of states. And the sixth, which is promotion of multilateralism and cooperation through dialogue. These are the few principles of the non-alignment movement which we should remember. It may be helpful for us to write in the mains exam. So let's move forward and see what else we have to discuss in this topic. Let's see that one. As we saw that 19th summit was held in Uganda. What was the theme of the summit? We should know that it is the deepening cooperation for shared global affluence. Here, Kampala Declaration was adopted at the summit. Under it, member countries commit to strengthen the the UN as the primary multilateral organization, agreed to make joint efforts to realize the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, which is abbreviated as 4 times A. This Addis Ababa Action Agenda, it provides a global framework for financing sustainable development by aligning all financing flows and policies with economic, social, and environmental priorities. It strongly condemns the illegal Israeli military aggression on the Gaza Strip and called for an immediate and durable humanitarian ceasefire. Also, we should know that the recent addition to the non-alignment movement, the recent member to it is South Sudan. It is 121st member of the non-alignment movement. About the theme, we should know this may be asked in the exam. What was the theme of the 19th summit of non-alignment movement? We should know that. We should remember it. It is deepening cooperation for shared global alliance, affluence, and we should know that which is the latest entry to NAM. It is South Sudan. Let's move forward. See more about non-alignment movement. As we know, in 1955, Asia Africa Conference was held in Bandung, Indonesia, and non-alignment movement, it was created during the independence struggle of various African, Asia, Latin American, and other regions of the world at the height of the Cold War. It was created during that time. The key role was played in this process by the then head of the state of Egypt, Ghana, India, Indonesia, and Yugoslavia, who later became the founding fathers of the movement. So these states, their heads were the key makers of this non-alignment movement. Its idea was to declare themselves as non-aligned from either of the two nascent military blocs, which which was NATO and the Warsaw Pact, or we can say non-aligning either to USA and USSR. About its principles, the 10 principles of Bandung, which we already discussed in the first slide, proclaimed during Bandung Conference, were later adopted as the main goals principles of non-alignment movement. Its first conference, the Belgrade Conference, was held in 1961. As about its members, it has 121 members, including India, which comprises of 53 countries from Africa, 39 from Asia, 26 from Latin America and Caribbean, and 2 from Europe. And also 18 countries and 10 international organizations are observers at non-alignment movement. And we should know that it does not have a formal funding charter or treaty, nor does it have a permanent secretariat. So these are few important points, especially for your prelims, which you should remember. They may ask such questions in the exam. They may ask which is the latest entry. They may ask about first conference of NAM, which is the Belgrade conference. They may ask who are the European states which are the members of the non-alignment movement. So we should go through these, and we should try to catch more information from this PPT. So let's move forward. Now our next topic is Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region. So why it is in news recently? Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region played a crucial role in tackling the hijacking incident of the Malta flagged vessel, which is merchant vessel, or MV Rion. So this was in the news because of that. Let's discuss more about Indian Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region. About IFC-IOR, it was established in 2018. It is based on IMAC and hosted by the Indian Navy. Soon about IMAC, we should know that it came soon after 26/11 attack in Mumbai. India brought together countries of the Indian Ocean Rim to form the Information Management and Analysis Center, which is IMAC, in 2014 in Gurugram. About IMAC, it is jointly administered by the Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard. What is the aim of IFSC IOR? It is strengthening maritime security in the region by building a common, coherent maritime situation picture using wide shipping agreements. About wide shipping agreements, these wide shipping agreements deal with the sharing of information regarding commercial, non-military merchant vessels. They share its information with the India. Let's see what the region covered under it: Indian Ocean region and adjoining seas. We have 69 linkages in 25 countries have been established to secure the global commons for a peace, stable and prosperous region towards the well-being of all. Also, Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region hosts 12 international liaison officers from 12 partner nations as they are Australia, France, Italy, Japan, Maldives, Mauritius, Myanmar, Seychelles, Singapore, Sri Lanka, UK and USA. So we should know about this international liaison officers. We should know from which countries they are appointed, who are the 12 countries which provide these officers. We should know about these 12 countries. We should have a raw knowledge about it. They may ask such questions in the exam. It has four sectors, which is Gulf of Guinea, Guinea, Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, and Bay of Bengal, and Southeast Asia. Also, the Maritime Information Sharing Workshop. It is the flagship platform of IFSC IOR that conducts training programs and is attended by delegates from a large number of countries. So, from here we understand that this uh, information fusion center of Indian Ocean region, the main purpose of it is to share the information that in this region the ships which are passing with our country, so that we can have good surveillance over them, and it is to curb terrorism, piracy, or drug trafficking, whatever the crimes go through this region. So the main purpose is to curb them and have a good look on the ships going through, good look on the traffic going through this region. What is the significance of Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region? It enhances maritime security in the Indian Ocean region in line with India's vision of Sagar, which is security and growth for all in the region. It helps in checking piracy and armed robbery. It helps in reducing logistical and bureaucratic pressure processes. It helps in capacity building, coordination of disaster relief, and shared submarine safety information. And also, it helps in predicting monthly weather forecasts, and weather warnings are also hosted through this. Now, the question is, how does uh, Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region strengthen India's foreign relations? So, for this, we have these points which we would try to understand. It helps in strategic partnership. A small group of India's strategic partnerships, such as the US, France, and other countries, they have positioned their ILOs, as we already discussed, at the Gurgaon based facility. It helps in strengthening neighborhood relations through the information sharing framework. For example, Sri Lankan coastal surveillance radars being integrated into the IFC IOR, and also helps in regional cooperation. And this promotes regional cooperation by facilitating information exchange related to maritime security. And also, India is developing 32 coastal surveillance radar stations in Sri Lanka, Mauritius, Seychelles, and Maldives, all of which will feed data to the IFSC IOR, which is Information Fusion Center for Indian Ocean region. Moving forward, let's move to the third important topic of today's discussion, which was in the news, is about India-Nepal relations. Why it was in the news? We should know that India and Nepal inked agreements during the 7th India-Nepal Joint Commission meeting, which was held in Kathmandu. The commission was established in 1987 and acts as a platform for both foreign ministers to review the bilateral partnership. Key agreements signed between India and Nepal include cooperation in renewable energy development, export of 10,000 megawatt of electricity over the next decade, and also is to launch Nepal's Munal satellite on Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So this Munal satellite, we should remember that it may be asked in the exam, this Munal satellite belongs to which country? So we should know that it belongs to Nepal, and who is going to launch it? It is ISRO, which is going to launch it for Nepal. Moving forward, let's see what are the areas of cooperation between India and Nepal. Here we have trade and development. Here, trade and investment. India has been a key development partner of Nepal. Also, India is the largest trading partner of Nepal and the highest source of FDI for Nepal. About bilateral trade, it crossed 7 billion in financial year 2019 and 20 with a trade deficit in favor of India. Also, about connectivity and development partnerships, India actively support Nepal's infrastructure development, including border infrastructure and cross-border rail links. Line of credit which India gives to it is 680 million to fund three major transmission corridors in Nepal: Behri Corridor, Nijghat Inarova Corridor, and Gantak Nepalganj Corridor. Also, twin integrated checkposts in Rupaida in India and Nepalganj in Nepal in 2023. Also, revised treaty of transit that would provide Nepal access to inland waterways of India. About political and security, we have political cooperation, regular high-level visits between two countries. Also, Nepal is a priority partner of India under its neighborhood first policy. In defense cooperation, we recruit Nepali soldiers in Gorkha regiments of Indian Army. Surya Kiran annual joint military exercise conducted alternatively in the two countries. So this Surya Kiran, it is important for our exam. Also, we have multilateral cooperation as part of BBIN, which is Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, and Nepal. BIMSTIC, which is the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectorial Technical and Economic Cooperation. Then we are part of non-alignment movement, and SAARC Nepal also joined India-led International Solar Alliance. In energy, India and Nepal have had a power exchange agreement since 1971 for meeting the power requirements in the border areas. Also in 2023, India agreed to the first trilateral power trade from Nepal to Bangladesh through India for up to 40 megawatts of power. In hydropower corporation, India and Nepal have had long-standing and fruitful hydropower cooperation. Also, other areas, for example, culture, prevalence of deep people connect, especially along the border region of both countries. The Saudesh Darshan Sikkim has Buddhist and Ramayana circuits which connect the religious cities of Lumbini and Janakpur with that of India. Also, in disaster management, following the 2015 earthquake in Nepal, New Delhi was the first responder as it carried out Operation Maitri in the region. Also, India supplied Covishield to Nepal under its Vaccine Maitri initiative. So this is the little, we can say, cooperation map between India and Nepal, which is highlighted in this slide. So I request you guys to take the snap of this slide and read it by yourself and grasp as much knowledge you could from this slide. Moving forward, let's see about India Nepal hydropower cooperation. Here, Nepal and India have inked an agreement setting the target to reach 10,000 megawatts of electricity export to India in the coming decade. About India hydropower projects in Nepal, we have West Seti and Seti River SR6 project. Uh, then we have Sapta Koshi High Dam project on Kosi River. Then we have Mahakali Treaty with 6,480 megawatt. the Upper Karnali project and the Arun 3 project. Then we have Phukot Karnali hydroelectric project through agreement between NHPC and Vidyut Utpadan Company Limited, Nepal. Then we have Lower Arun hydroelectric project through an agreement between SJVN India and the Investment Board of Nepal. So these are some Indian hydropower projects in Nepal. Here we can see the map for it. We can see the Sethi river, how much electricity is produced through it. Then we have Moghu Karneli, then we have Upper Karneli, then we have Budhi Gandaki and Tamakosi, then we have Arun, we have Upper Arun, we have Tomar, we have Lower Arun and Arun 4. So this is the map for this hydro project in Nepal. What is the significance of this cooperation for India and the significance for Nepal? Let us see. We have bilateral cooperation. Hydropower cooperation is a solid pillar in India-Nepal relation. We have energy demand. Nepal's enormous water wealth and huge hydropower potential can cater to India's increasing energy requirement, and also China factor. It will help India minimize the geopolitical influence of China and firm India's presence in Nepal. Significance of cooperation for Nepal is technological expertise. Collaboration with India provides access to technological expertise and experience in the construction and management of hydropower projects. We have infrastructure development. Investment for India can help build the necessary infrastructure in Nepal. We have export revenue. Exporting surplus electricity to India can become a source of revenue for Nepal. So let's move forward. Let's move to our fourth topic, which we have to discuss. It is about India-Russia relations. About it, we will discuss few points which are to be noted, which may be important for our exam. Here we should note that India and Russia signed three documents, including a protocol on consultations during the External Affairs Minister's official visit to Russia in December 2023. About this protocol, the protocol will foster progress in military cooperation and economic energy trade, military technical cooperation, connectivity and people-to-people exchange. The duration of the protocol is for 4 years from 24 to 28. Two other documents related to Kudankulam nuclear power plant and the Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation in Pharmaceuticals and Healthcare were also signed during the visit. The long-standing and time-tested partnership between India and Russia is driven by shared interests of multilateralism and global peace and prosperity. So it was the External Affairs Minister's visit to Russia. In it, these three documents were signed, in which first we had the protocol cooperation in pharmaceuticals and healthcare. They were also signed. Here we have a timeline of India-Russia relations. It was established in 1947. In 19, it is a, you know, if we would understand the nutshell the roadmap of India and Russia. In 1975, India's first satellite Aryabhatta launched on the Soviet launch vehicle Soyuz. Then in 1988, Kudankulam nuclear power plant agreement. In 1993, Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. In 2000, we declaration on India-Russian strategic partnership leading to annual summits. In 2010, we have special and privileged strategic partnership, and in 2021, we have first India-Russia 2+2 ministerial dialogue. Major areas of India-Russia cooperation and its significance. We have defense and security cooperation. Russia is a major supplier of defense items to Indian armed forces, and both nations are in joint research, development, and production of advanced defense items. Also, bilateral projects include the supply of S-400 licensed production of T-90 tanks and Su-30 MKI and production of AK-203 rifles in India and BrahMos missiles among others. Cooperation is guided by the agreement of the Program for Military Technical Cooperation for 21 to 31. Also, INRA as a tri-service bilateral military exercise. In international multilateral cooperation, Russia supports India's bid for a permanent seat in the UN Security Council and membership of Nuclear Suppliers Group. Also, both nations have an active engagement at international multilateral organizations such as BRICS and SCO, and also connectivity projects such as International North-South Transport Corridor. Also, it helps to act decisively decisively against international terrorism and cooperate on matters such as drug trafficking issues in Afghanistan and other issues. About trade and economic cooperation, bilateral trade during financial year 21-22 amounted to 13.2 billion and is set to 30 billion for 2025. Also, bilateral investment between the two countries crossed the US 30 billion target set in 2018, which is to reach 50 billion targets set for 2025. The other areas of cooperation, we have nuclear energy. The impeccable non-proliferation record of India has strengthened the partnership for peaceful use of nuclear energy. India and Russia have also signed a tripartite pact with Bangladesh for civil nuclear cooperation. In space cooperation, Russia has supported India's space program since its early days. For example, Russia is supporting India's first manned space mission Gaganyaan. Also, science and technology. India-Russia relationship extends to the field of basic science as well, including a Russian-Indian network of universities, Arctic and Antarctic research, and others. Now, let's move to the fifth topic of today's discussion. It is about India-Italy relations. Why it was in the news recently, the Union Cabinet approved the migration and mobility agreement between India and Italy. Key provisions of the agreement are Indian students after completing academic vocational training in Italy may be granted temporary residence for up to 12 months. For workers, the Italian side has reserved a quota for non-seasonal and seasonal Indian workers for 2023, 24 and 25 under the current flows decree. The agreement will remain in force for 5 years and will be automatically renewed for a successive period unless it is terminated by either signatory. What are the major engagements between India and Italy? We have political relation. There has been a regular exchange of visits at political and official levels between both countries. For instance, the Indian PM paid his official first visit to Italy in October 2021 to attend the G20 summit. In March 2023, the Italian PM paid her first ever state visit to India as the guest of honor of Raisina dialogue. Also, in economic relations, Italy is India's fourth largest trading partner in the European Union. The bilateral trade between the two countries was valued at 14.25 billion in 2022-23, with the balance of trade being in India's favor. Also, in defense relations, India-Italy Military Cooperation Group is a forum established to boost defense cooperation. India and Italy signed a defense cooperation agreement in 2023 to promote cooperation in varied defense domains such as security and defense policy and industrial cooperation, among others. In strategic relations, the relationship between India and Italy was elevated to strategic partnership in March 2023 during the visit of the Italian Prime Minister to India. A connection was identified between the Indo-Pacific, in which India plays a leading role, and the enlarged Mediterranean, where Italy sits at the center of the Mediterranean Sea and acts as a natural bridge towards the Indo-Pacific. And also, the Italy's decision to withdraw from the Belt and Road Initiative aligns with the common goals in global connectivity between Rome and the New Delhi. Also, in multilateral, Italy supports India's entry into the Western Agreement and Australia Group. The Blue Raman project with an Italian company at its core will bring the Mediterranean and the Indian Ocean closer in exchange of digital data through a submarine cable system. What are the other areas of cooperation? Here we have technology. An agreement on science and technology cooperation has existed since 1978, leading to initiatives like Indo-Trento program for advanced research. Also in space, a joint declaration recently signed between the heads of Italian Space Agency and ISRO. Also about diaspora, the Indian community in Italy estimated at 180,000 including PIOs is the third largest community of Indians in Europe after the UK and the Netherlands. Persons of Indian origins, it is third after UK and the Netherlands in Europe. What are the issues in India-Italy relations? We have low trade. India and Italy, despite having historical trade ties dates back to the Roman era, have relatively low current volume of trade and investment. Also, there is a huge trust deficit due to earlier issues. Italian mariners case, the case sparked a conflict over legal jurisdiction and functional immunity, which ended only in 2020 with the verdict of Permanent Court of Arbitration. Also, we have Augusta Westerland helicopter scandal. The defense firm owned by Italian company Leonardo was accused of bribery, resulting in India cancelling the procurement deal and banning Leonardo from the Indian defense market in 2015. Also, we have unrealized alliance in 2020, the India-Italy-Japan trilateral partnership, which was launched, but yet it has not been operationalized. Now, let's move to the topic of this year. It is the Genocide Convention. Usually, we see this in the news because of the Palestine issue, the cruelties of Israel in Palestine. Uh, it is regarding that. So let's discuss about it. As we can see here, the International Court of Justice gave its interim ruling on South Africa's genocide case against Israel, in which South Africa uh, went to the International Court of Justice and they brought Israel and they brought the Gaza issue there, and they stated that the Israel is doing genocide there. South Africa versus Israel case in International Court of Justice. South Africa argued that the manner in which Israel was conducting its military operation in Gaza violated the Genocide Convention. Also, provisional measures by International Court of Justice ICJ ruled that Israel must take all measures to prevent genocidal acts in Gaza. However, it did not order ceasefire and did not find Israel guilty yet. It would take usually cases in ICJ take long time, so there would be more discussions regarding this. Let us hope for best and let's hope for the justice. About the Genocide Convention, officially known as Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide 1948. It codified the crime of genocide for the first time. It was also the first human rights treaty adopted by the UN General Assembly. About definition of genocide, the crime of genocide is defined in Article 2 of the Genocide Convention. Genocide is defined as an act committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. According to the convention, genocide is a crime that can take place both in time of war as well as in time of peace. About membership, the Genocide Convention has been ratified by 153 states. India has signed the treaty in 1949 and ratified it in 1959. Responsibility of state parties. State have obligation not to commit genocide and to take measures to prevent and punish the crime of genocide, including by enacting relevant legislations and punishing perpetrators. Perpetrators. However, India did not enact any legislation on the subject yet. About its jurisdiction, International Court of Justice hears cases related to the interpretation and application of the convention. Other key information which we should know that the definition of the crime of genocide as set out in the convention has been widely adopted at both national and international levels, including in the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. So here we come across the two terms, International Court of Justice and International Criminal Court. They are very, uh, for a layman, they may be same, but for us who are the aspirants, we should know the difference, and let's discuss more about it. About International Court of Justice, it is a principal judicial organ of the United Nations established in 1945, and International Criminal Court, it is established by the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court in 1998. So there is a difference in headquarters. The Peace Palace in The Hague. Also, for International Criminal Court, the headquarters is Hague only. It is about International Court of Justice. It is the only principal organ of the UN which is not located in New York. Its role is to settle legal disputes as per international law and to provide advisory opinion. Judgment is binding on the parties to a case and without appeal, subject to interpretation or revision. So, the judgment of the International Court of Justice is binding on the parties. About the International Criminal Court, it is an international court to investigate and prosecute individuals accused of serious international crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and aggression. ICG, International Court of Justice, it is not against individuals. Here, individuals are not heard, but in International Criminal Court, individuals are heard, and also it has 123 member countries are part of the Rome Statute. India is not a member. India is not a member of International Court of Justice, but India is a member of international. India is not member of International Criminal Court, but it is the member of the International Court of Justice. About the composition of International Court of Justice, we have 15 judges. Currently, India serves one judge who are elected for 9 years by the UN General Assembly and the Security Council. Its official language is English and French, and the comparison with International Criminal Court (ICG) hears disputes between nations over matters of law, unlike the International Criminal Court, which holds individuals criminally responsible for offense and crimes against humanity. So, as we already discussed that this International Criminal Court, it hears cases against individuals, while as International Court of Justice, it hears cases against nations. Now, coming back to the International Criminal Court, we have 123 members in it. It has jurisdiction only over crimes committed after July 1, 2002, when the Rome Statute entered into force. We should know that only states are eligible to appear before the court in contentious cases. It has no jurisdiction over application from individuals, non-governmental organization, corporations, or private entity. Other key information: its judgments are final without appeal and binding upon the parties concerned. The court does not have its own police force and relies on state corporation to the arrest and surrender of the suspects. So this was the nutshell information about the International Court of Justice and International Criminal Court. Now let's move to our last topic of today's discussion is the Global Cooperation Barometer 2024 report. Who gave this report? It is the World Economic Forum in collaboration with McKinsey and Company released the report. So we should know that such questions do come in the exam, and uh, we often miss such questions. We should know that The Global Cooperation Barometer 2024 report. It is given by the World Economic Forum in cooperation with the McKinsey and Company released the report. About Global Corporation Barometer, it is a tool for leaders to better understand the contours of cooperation broadly along five dimensions using 42 indicators of global connection. These five pillars were chosen because of their impact on global development and their explicit dependence on cooperative efforts among nations and economies. It measures corporations from 2012 through 2022 and could help business and government stakeholders to face global challenges such as rising global temperatures, growing forcible displacement 42 million in 2012 to 82 million in 2020, threats of pandemic and the risks associated with the new unregulated technologies also unlock new opportunities. For example, generative AI has the potential to contribute as much as 2.6 trillion to 4.4 trillion to the global economy. About the pillars, it has these five pillars. First is trade and capital, promote global development and resilience. It grew through the pandemic disruption but slowed in 2023. Geopolitical tensions and new restrictions make the future path unclear. About innovation and technology, it is about accelerate innovation and beneficial technological progress. Observation, what we observe from inflows of data, IP and international students powered an increase in cooperation until 2020. Pandemic drove widespread remote working for white-collar workers con- that supported continued growth in cross-border data flows and relatively robust IT service growth. However, new questions have arisen about how to work together to harness opportunities. The race to dominate the frontiers of technology development has led to import and export bans on 5G network technologies, limitations on semiconductors, and bans on some social media platforms. The share of cross-border patents fell sharply to the lowest point in the last decade. About climate and natural capital, it supports the resolution of climate and natural capital challenges. What we observed, level of cooperation has been rising steadily due in large measures to an increase in commitments, but emissions also continue to rise. Net zero commitments in the private sector have also proliferated due to groups such as Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero. Also, emissions intensity, emissions relative to GDP improved over the decades, reflecting advance in electrification, decrease in heavy industry, and increasing presence of renewable energy resources. About its pillar about health and wellness, enable global population to lead longer and better lives rose swiftly in response to the pandemic but appears to be settling back to historical patterns. Maternal mortality rates increased for the first time in 3 decades. Also, WHO's pandemic preparedness treaty to be considered in 2024 is a prime example of international cooperation in progress. About peace and security, prevent and resolve conflicts. Cooperation in peace and security has declined since 2016 and plummeted recently. This trend is driven by a rise in forcibly displaced people, a surge in cyber attacks, and a recent rise in conflict associated deaths. So, this was about the pillars and what we observed from it. Let's see about this is the last slide of today's discussion. It is about India's initiative for global cooperation. We uh, believe in inclusion of the African Union as a permanent member of the G20, expanding it to encompass 80% of the global population. In climate action, Green Development Pact declaration provides a roadmap where employment and ecosystems are complementary. Consumption is climate conscious and production is planet friendly. About tackling pandemic through Vaccine Maitri program, India supplied COVID vaccines to countries in need as well as UN entities. Also, we believe in promoting solar energy. India-led International Solar Alliance is promoting One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative. So, Guys, these are some topics which were relevant uh, in since last 1 year. As if you are new to this, if you are watching this video first time, you could see it in my channel that I had uploaded these videos related to current affairs for these subjects which are important for our prelims. So my request to you is please stay with me, and I would try to complete each and every subject which is important for our prelims at least before the month of June. In the month of May, I would try to complete every important subject. After these few classes, we would take up the economy session. Then after economy, I would try to take up ecology and environment, and then after ecology and environment, we will directly jump to the science and technology. So these main 5 to 6 subjects we would try to discuss before the exam, and I hope I would I will be successfully able to deliver the information which is required for our exams. So best of luck to you all, guys, and I hope you achieve the best in your life. Thank you very much, and please, if you had stayed with me, please subscribe to this channel. It would be a kind of acknowledgement of my work. Thank you very much.